Hi. So most of you know me. So Pete Smith. So in the nursing department here at Lindenwood. So I thought I would make a quick video to kind of walk you through the email because I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed by all the words. So what I put in the email was purposeful. It was just some background, some context, and specifically what I'm inviting you to do with the testing of my prototype. So, without further ado, I'm just gonna walk everybody through everything. So, number one, I want to say thank you. I sincerely appreciate. I know this is a busy time. Regardless of the time of year, we're all busy. So I thank you for taking the time to participate in my study and just for your interest in it because this is something I've never embarked on. Excuse me, and I'm very excited about how this came about. So the first thing I want to, share is imposter phenomenon goes by many different names: imposter phenomenon, syndrome, fraudulent syndrome. When I was conducting my lit review, there was a surplus of names, but the most common one is imposter phenomenon or syndrome. So the main thing with imposter phenomenon is that it's a faulty thought process because victims have all said, and myself, I'm total victim of IP. It all is just I'm not it's not that I'm not good enough, but I feel like I have attained my position through luck, that I really technically don't know what I'm doing, and someone's going to find out. That was so present in my mentality when I became a nurse on the floor years and years and years ago. Specifically for me, because I'm like, holy socks, I am responsible for people's lives. People die in my industry, and I hope it's not at my hand. So, yeah, even though I had the grades, the diploma, the awards, I had all these accolades that plus my own mentality, my proof of performance. Yeah, I was very much like people are going to find out I'm a fraud, and I wasn't. So the main thing I want to stipulate, excuse me, is that imposter phenomenon stems from within. It can have external factors that exacerbate my own internal, but basically what I'm trying to get at is a lot of individuals confuse imposter phenomenon with a hostile work environment. When I was doing my lit review, I came across many studies where people would say, I know that no one is out to get me. I know that the world is a very nice place. Everything stems from inside. That's the main point of differentiation. That's the line of demarcation. That's North Korea versus South Korea. That's the demarcation line right there. Is that we know that nobody's making me feel this way. I'm making myself feel this way. Now, I could say this isn't true, but it's like my parents raised me. You need to be perfect. You need to be a winner. You need to excel. Yes, that's going to shape my internal voice. But there comes a time as we reach adulthood when we realize, as much as we love mom and dad or whoever our parental units are, they were wrong in instilling that in me. People that have imposter phenomenon, they know that the world's not out to get them. So basically my main thing is I just want to differentiate, and a lot of us work in a hostile environment. We have hostile, a workspace, or hostile work peers, superior, whatever, but we're just differentiating that. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of stipulate that, but also a little bit back to that fraudulent mindset, because imposter phenomenon, we feel that I'm fraudulent, I'm a fraud in my position. So, what I like to say is that no, you're not. You are faulty in your thought process. You are not fraudulent. What it means is that our thought processes have been evolving over time to make us feel like we are not worthy to be at that table, to have a seat or voice at that table, when in fact we are. So, what I'm proposing is adjusting that mindset. So, this is where I am calling upon you guys because number one, you're all amazing, but you also agreed to do this. And I do not want to increase your workload. So don't get overwhelmed by that email. A lot of it is just background information. You're going to have a very few simple tasks for you guys to do. So the first thing I'd like to share is, my study intention. My intention, sorry, is to introduce and test a prototype protocol that is basically comprising a cognitive behavioral shift. I want to help immediately, short term, change that thought process during an IEP episode. So I want to help you change that I'm a fraud. No, you're not. You're faulty in your thought process. So during that IEP experience, because again, the thinking is faulty, not fraudulent. So how did this all come about? So I had you guys complete that Clance imposter phenomenon scale, which is that 20 question Likert scale question. And there were 4 different categories. So once you completed all the questions, you were kind enough to tally all your scores. And the scores were 40 or fewer, which meant that people had few IP tendencies. 41 to 60 meant that you had some moderate IP characteristics. 61 to 80, you had very frequent IP feelings. And then 81 or above, you had often and intense IP characteristics and episodes. I requested anybody that had 41 or above, not to negate or detract from those that are 40 or less. They still have those IP tendencies, but I don't know if I would have gotten the results I'm hoping to attain by them. So when I go into my postdoctoral research studies, I'm absolutely going to be including that. But I'm speaking with you guys. Number one, you were kind enough to do this, but also you scored 41 or above. So basically what my study protocol is going to comprise is I've come up with a mindful moment and a reality reset protocol. And I've also constructed my own instrument, my own 5-point scale, my own, I don't want to call it my CIPS scale, but with my critical nursing background, I'm all about the data. I'm all about the clinical manifestations. And this is something I'd like to pursue further postdoctoral. But I came up with this scale, and it's further in the email, and we'll get into it. But it's called the Imposter Phenomenon Acuity Rating Index, or IPARI. So basically what the goal is, and this is where I'm going to kind of explain the mindful moment in reality reset. Whenever you are experiencing an IP episode, I'm inviting you to literally take a mindful moment, if you can. And if you remember to do this, it might take a time or two. But when you're starting to experience that imposter phenomenon tendency, mentally take a time out and employ what I call a reality reset, because that's when our mind starts to get the better of us. Like, I can give you my example. I was meeting with one of my superiors a couple weeks ago, and the meeting wasn't going very well. And a lot of it was because I was in my own head. And I literally took a split second, and in my head, I had a Scooby-Doo moment. It was, nope, I deserve to be here. So that was my mindful moment, like, okay, let's stop this faulty thinking, not fraudulent, but faulty thinking. And now let's reset my current reality. What I mean by that is inviting a personal, motivating, and validating artifact or attitude that authenticates your abilities, your aptitudes, and your positions. Basically, it's validating that you are where you need to be. So for me, depending on the situation, now this one was an academic situation, so literally what I thought of, and I'm looking at them right now, I have all my diplomas hung up on my wall in my office at home. That's the first thing I thought of, because it's like, wow, I have the knowledge, I have the skills, and I have the aptitudes to be here. If it was in a medical environment, this is going to sound really stupid, but I've done this. In a medical environment, I take that mindful moment and I reset my reality by thinking about all the lives that I have helped save. I know that sounds dumb, but to me that was like, no, I know what I'm talking about in the medical field. I've experienced this. I am worthy of being here. So those are extreme examples, but that's what I'm talking about when I say take a mindful moment, just stop that fraudulent thinking, and then the artifact or attitude that you come up with is your own. It's very subjective, could be objective, but it's whatever for you personally validates. It could be a picture of something on your phone. It could be something that a loved one always says to you, or whatever validates in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud or anything like that. So that's just basically how you're going to kind of reverse this. So on the IPARI score, and we'll go into that next. So it is a 5, I guess, rating scale. So there's it's 0 to 4 basically. So the first one is what I call a pseudo episode. So when you're taking this mindful moment and reality reset, if you can think back to this IPARI score and kind of like, okay, right now before I do my mindful moment and reality reset, where am I falling in this? Am I a 0? Am I a 3? What am I? So I won't go over this too intensely, but basically the long story short on this one is based upon my critical care nursing background. I came up with this scale, basically 0 to 4, where 0 is a pseudo episode. And I'll just take a second to explain that one, which means that I'm not really having an imposter episode. It's more externally driven. So maybe it's a hostile work environment or hostile superior or peer or something. Not detracting from that experience, but again, it's just differentiating between a bad work environment and an IP experience. So, and then it just goes up the scale from that. A 1 is psychological, where I'm all just in my head. It's like, no, I'm feeling okay, but I'm starting to question my ability now because of this situation I'm in or this person. And again, these people are not being mean to me. These people are just, hey, Pete, can you do this today? Or Pete, talk to me about, this patient care plan you put together for this, whatever. But now I'm in my head and I'm thinking, oh, they're asking me, does that mean I'm not supposed to be here? Or, that's what I'm talking about. Then it goes on, to 2, which is psychological and physical. It goes on to a 3, which is psychological, physical, and emotional, all the way up to the last one, which is the extreme, where it's like panic attack, kind of beyond that. So I'll let you guys kind of read that. And again, at any time, if you guys have questions, feel free to email me or contact me. So, okay, so now we're coming to the nitty gritty because I know I'm babbling, sorry, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I'm really good at babbling. Those of you who know me know this. So I just really have 5 simple things that I want you to do. So when you are in an IP episode, if you could, at that moment, before you do the mindful moment in reality reset, take a quick second and just rate where you're at on that IPARI score on a 0 to 4, if you can. Just, is it just in my mind? Is it my mind and in my gut? Is it my mind, my emotions, and my gut? Kind of what's going on. And just rate yourself 0 to 4. And then intervene by literally taking a deep breath, taking that mindful moment, and then recalling your reality reset motivator. So whatever that attitude or artifact, subjective, objective is. And then once you're doing that, then re-rate if you can. So I'm making this up, but did I move from a 4 to a 3? Did I move from a 3 down to a 1? Or did I stay at a 3? So that's basically it. And then once you're done, not immediately after, but once you've thought about it, I invite you to go back to Qualtrics, and I have a link in the email, and just share your experience. Doesn't matter how long or how short it is. I don't care about grammar or spelling. This is just a couple questions, I think there's 6 or 7, where you just capture that experience. So I want to keep it really easy and simple. So you're initially rating when it starts. You're intervening by doing the mindful moment and the reality reset. When it's done, you're re-rating on the IPARI. You're evaluating, how did it? Did it stay the same, stay constant, move up, move down? And then just going on to Qualtrics and just taking that survey. So again, I don't want to have a lot of interaction from you guys, meaning a lot of work. That's what I mean. So the timeline I'm looking at is May 1st through June 30th, because I know a lot of you guys are 9 month, and so you'll be leaving at the middle of May. But I thought this would give, the first 2 weeks of May. Hopefully you guys don't, but selfishly, I'm hoping you do have an IP episode. Sorry. But then if some of you are 12 month, great. But if some of you are 9 month, I mean, that's fine too. But if you think about it over the summer, if you're 9 month, sometime in June, if you have an IP episode or anything like that, just log on and just do it. So that's really, really all I'm asking for. Then afterwards, after June 30th, what I'd like to do, if you guys are open to this, is either, set up structured interviews virtually, where I'll ask everybody the same questions, or I may just put those same questions up on another Qualtrics survey, just so I can capture your data about that. So, and then I put at the end of the email the study benefits, simply because I know some of you are thinking, wow, this seems kind of stupid, but, and really like easy, but I'm going to tell you, dude, guys, girls, sorry, it works. I mean, I've been doing it, and I'm like, this is something so simple, but if this can be a short-term mitigation strategy during the moment, to help someone long-term in their overall strategy, long-term strategy, to help reverse this, this is powerful. I mean, this is huge, because it's just using that cognitive behavioral reset, and it's just adjusting that faulty, fraudulent thinking. So if you can have just some short-term intervening strategy, intellectual strategy to help with that, think of how much stronger a person can be. And not only that, it can help elevate and enhance someone's perception of their health and wellness, their self-confidence, and help them build their, professional performance, productivity, and most importantly, their professional identity, because everybody deserves a seat at the table where they are currently at. So that was a lot. That was almost 17 minutes, and I apologize for that. But again, I just wanted to go over everything that was in the email. So again, just hopefully asking some simple things from you guys. So until you have an IP episode, my advice to you would be, just start thinking about what validates your current position, your current seat and voice at the table. And again, it could be objective or subjective. And like me, it could be different for different scenarios, both mine, education versus medical versus nursing versus, whatever. It could be different for each person. So, just be thinking about what validates, your current standing. And then, familiarize yourself, if you'd like, with the IPARI score. Take a snapshot of it, keep it handy on your phone. But again, I am always available to help answer any questions. And again, I cannot thank you enough for your participation. And I really do look forward to hearing from you guys. So I hope it works out. So thank you so much.